Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Khleif, and I am thrilled that you're here. And I know you're going to get tremendous value from the gentleman I'm interviewing today. His name is Satch Bernhardt, and I asked him where that Satch name came from, and he's not even sure himself. So we won't belabor that point. But Satch is a former airline pilot and for a large carrier, and now he's in over 350 doors, $77 million in assets under management as a co-GP, and really good at raising money. And let's have some fun. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, Rod. Thank you for having me, man. It's a privilege being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Kind of you to say that. And I know you're just up the road in Orlando, and I'm in Sarasota, but we love Florida, right? I could be a poster child for the Florida Chamber of Commerce, man. I love everything about it. You feel the same way?
Dude, 100%. My wife and I have agreed that we'll never leave Florida. In fact, even though we say that, we did go to Iowa for a while. She got a job. She flies helicopters. She got a job in Iowa. And dude, like most people, I ask them about Iowa, they have no idea where it is. But we moved out there only for a year. It was horrible, dude. We went through.
I was going to say on purpose.
Yeah, it was horrible. Like we just could not wait to get back. Once we get back, we're like, right, 100% sure we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's how I feel, man. Well, listen, why don't you let's start by having you tell a little bit, a little more detail on your story and why you ended up in real estate, and then we'll take it a couple different directions, I think.
Yeah, for sure. So about my story, I'll keep it brief. Like you mentioned, I was flying for a U.S. carrier. I started back when I was 21 years old, flying for the airlines. I always knew since I was a kid that I wanted to be a pilot, right? I was obsessed with airplanes and flying. I came to Florida, actually, to Sanford to learn how to fly when I was 18.
Sanford is a suburb of Orlando, guys. Okay.
And sorry, I feel so like we're like so close together. I'm like, you just
right. Yeah.
And so I learned how to fly. As soon as I turned 21, I already had my hours. I went to the airlines, and I was loving it, dude. I was having fun, traveling, going places, flying the airplane. When I turned 25, being gone every single month started taking a toll on me. That's when I realized, okay, I'm only 4 years into this flying career, and I'm
you had a family? Do you have family, kids?
Only my wife.
Okay.
But I knew the baby was coming, and I knew the family and everything was just down the road. So I knew I need to do something right now to set myself for the future, because if I wait until then, it's probably going to be too late. And that's when I started looking for other things. I figured if I can figure out a way to complement my income from the airlines, I can drop some of my trips and stay home. And for the audience that may not know much about the aviation or airline industry, most airlines, you're pretty flexible as far as like dropping your trips if you don't want to go to work. The only problem is you don't get paid, right? So I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, like many people. I got interested into like all this passive income and different ways to do it. Real estate was the one that attracted me the most, and that's what led me down the real estate path.
Right.
This is back in 2017, 2018, when I started doing all my research and education, reading different books about real estate, and really trying to find where I could fit into the real estate game, right? There's so many things that you can do in real estate. My wife at the time was a real estate agent. I did not want to be a real estate agent. I saw her, what she was doing, and that just didn't attract me. And
can I stop you there for 1 second? Is licensed in Florida?
Yeah.
Right. So guys, I hear the question all the time, should I get my real estate license to do this? And my answer is always no. And here's why. If you're going to sell real estate and that's going to be your way of making money, then of course, then get your license. But if you're just interested in investing, there's no reason to get your real estate license, because all you're going to learn is how to protect people. That's all you're going to learn. And then once you're licensed, you're held to a higher standard. So you have more liability, frankly, as an investor. So it's completely unnecessary. It's not going to help you in your investing career, again, unless you're going to go out and sell real estate for a business. But please continue.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah. So then I just through a friend of mine, he's like, hey man, why don't you look into this wholesaling thing? It might be something for you, right? That's what led me down to learning about wholesaling, and we started doing it. I don't know if wholesaling is, just explain it simple for the audience.
No. Yeah, go ahead and explain it. I think most people know what it is, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's simply you simply acquire the rights to purchase a property with a contract, and you are selling that contract for a fee to an end buyer that will either
you're passing the buck right down. You make a few bucks for the transition, and a lot of people start this way because it's a way to make quick cash, and you're only as good as your last sale, right?
Right.
Now you turned it into something big. You said you have 31 employees, right? Now, in your wholesaling business, which is extraordinary. Now, are you in multiple states or just in Florida?
Just Florida.
Just Florida. Wow. With 31. That's fantastic. Now I want to tell you, let me interject something. I posted in my Warrior group, which is my coaching students. I've got about 1,200 active ones right now across the country. And I posted in there, gosh, it's probably been 18 months ago. And I said, who's done a wholesale deal and made over 100 grand? Because the average wholesale commissions, I don't know, in the 5 to 20 range, I think, in single family, and unless you're in the higher dollar one, but typically it's in that range. And I said, who's made over 100 grand? And 12 had made over 100 grand in my wholesale. And this is 18 months ago, and 2 made over $1 million on wholesaling, one multifamily deal. So guys, if you're thinking of wholesaling, you don't just have to do single family. You can do multifamily too and make a lot of money. And so anyway, I just want to interject that. But so you did that. How long did you wholesale? I mean, what was it? You're still doing it, I think, aren't you? You just stepped away from it.
Yeah, we're still doing it. For the first 2 years, I was extremely active doing it, and which sort of accomplished what I wanted, right? I was able to drop my trips from the airlines, and I was wholesaling, and I was earning money from that. But I was the solopreneur, right? I was a wine guy running around doing everything. I was home, which you
said solo entrepreneur. Yeah, it was all you, right? Yeah. Got it. Okay.
In my opinion, you never want to be that.
Right.
And then 2 years into it, I had dreams of growing the company, and that was the way I was leading it. And then 2 years into my real estate career in 2020, during the pandemic, my airline shut down. And that was catastrophic for many, many airline pilots. Dude, it was rough, right? My coworkers were suffering. They not only did our job shut down, but also nobody else was hiring, so they could not find job anywhere else. I was okay because I was already making money in real estate. You had
your side hustle already.
I just kept going, right? I just kept going. I kept growing it and adding more team members. At the same time, I was investing in syndications. I realized that, hey man, passively, yes, I'm as an LP. I realized I was turning all this money, but it was all active income, and it was not generating any passive income. So I had the opportunity to hold on to a lot of single family homes, but I never felt attracted to it, Rod. I don't know why, man.
Well, you were smarter than I was, brother, because I had 2,000 over my lifetime that I held long term. Yeah, so you got the memo much quicker than I did. So
yeah, I mean, I listened to, I was like, I'm always consuming content, educating, right? Like I listen to your podcast and other people's podcasts. And early on, I was like, right, I don't want to own single family homes. I'm using my wholesaling business as a means of generating income, but that's not my passive income, right? So multifamily is where I want to be. So I started investing in a couple of syndications as an LP, and once we shut down, I realized how like the job that everybody told me that was like, dude, like stick with your pilot job. That job is secure. That's always going to be there. That is fake. That's not.
Let me share something. Sorry to interrupt. My dad worked for Continental Airlines for 36 years.
Wow.
Okay. And he used to, they used to call it the proud bird with the brass ass because it had a gold tail, and you could always tell a Continental plane, even if it was way up in the air. And I'm not kidding when I tell you that when we were kids, if he'd see a Continental plane, we'd have to stop, put our hand over our heart, and watch the plane go by. Okay, this total serious. He loved that company, and he worked for him for 36 years, and he got laid off. 36 freaking years. And he used to tell me, I don't know why you're going to screw around with real estate. Go get a good job and you'll get a pension. You know how much my pension my mom got? I lost my mom a few months ago, but she got $596 a month from his pension for 36 years. So anyway, I just wanted to add some framework to the airline industry. Please continue.
Yeah, no, I love that you bring that up because it's a reality, it's a reality. And a lot of us we're just like the sheeps following up the old way of thinking, right? And it's not really serving us anymore. We're living in a society that we need to look for ourselves after ourselves. So man, so that's how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. So after realizing there was a need for me to like help other pilots do the same thing, I just got started in capital raising, and I figured, hey, I'm gonna leverage other operators and start bringing spread awareness of what you can do in multifamily syndications so that other pilots can invest passively.
Yeah, I know love it.
And I know something will happen later on again. The airline industry is so fragile. 9/11, we got hit pretty hard. 2008, we got hit hard, we're in the pandemic. So something is going to happen. I don't know what it is going to be, but aside from something external, also there's a lot of things that can happen internally. Like we go through a medical test depending on your age, you either go 6 months or every year. And dude, at any moment, your doctor can say, dude, you're not fit to fly. And
we won't even talk about the whole vaccination piece, but yeah, I feel you. Guys, we are in a pivotal point in history, and we could have the greatest transfer of wealth in our lifetimes over the next few years. A lot of people are saying it's not going to be bad. I think it's going to be really bad. In fact, Elon Musk was just quoted saying that if they don't lower the interest rates, it's going to be a severe recession, and they aren't going to lower the interest rates. They're going to keep going with. They've already said that, and so. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's something to get excited about. But so what I would tell you, if you're listening to me, I know you want multifamily, but I don't care what the vehicle is. Decide what it's going to be right now. If it's going to be single family, multifamily, if it's going to be buying businesses, buying stocks, whatever it is, and get up to speed immediately. Because once we're in the thick of it, it's going to be too late. But this could be the greatest opportunity of your lifetime to massively, exponentially make money. And if you're up to speed and you pick a vehicle and you go learn it and kick ass with it. But I also want to mention this. I know you got into the business raising money, and you had a mentor taught you about this, and I know you believe in mentors. I do as well. I've always got mentors myself personally, let alone the fact that I became one. But in this business, like you were saying, you were a solopreneur in your wholesaling business, right? It was all you. And now you've come to realize that multifamily is a team sport. Yes?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and so there are lots of hats you can wear, guys. Okay, you can be the underwriter, and you told me, Satch, that you enjoy looking at other people's underwriting, and you can understand it. You wouldn't want to do it yourself, but you can totally understand it. That could be your role if you're analytical. You could be the person building relationships with brokers if you're super outgoing. You could be the person that does investor relations and raises money like you do, Satch, or you got some construction experience or some project management experience or even management experience of any kind, and you could do the asset management. So there's lots of hats you can wear in this business, and you selected the capital raising one. And I said this before we even started recording. I said you took advantage of your past experience because you're connected with a bunch of pilots and you can speak pilot talk, right? And I know super successful people that have done it in medical sales, that have done it in the IT space, that have done it, that are doctors, that do it with other doctors. And so, beautiful. I mean, fantastic that you saw the opportunity there and you jumped on it. So I salute you for that, brother.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So go ahead. You were writing some notes. You got something to say?
Yeah. I want to touch on that mentor thing, man, because I think it's very important. I ignore it when I started.
You did.
And I think it comes from like when you're not really in this mentoring space, or like the self-development space, you think of the mentorship as something that you don't really need, right? When you're used to doing like the do-it-yourself work kind of guy,
or go
like,
to college, and learn it there,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
I'll figure it out on my own. And
right.
dude, when I started real estate, I made so many mistakes. It took me so long to gain traction. I eventually got a mentor, but once I got a mentor, dude, it just exploded from there. I this year alone, I think I spent probably around $35,000 in just getting like mentorship. Like I paid guys like dude, I'll pay $1,000 for your for 1 hour of your time, you know?
Yeah.
And like I do that all the time, dude, and it helps me so much. Like the shortcuts that you get in like you're learning from someone's mistake. They already figure out all the ways you can do something, and they will tell you like, dude, go down this path. This is where you want to go. Do it this way. You will get it.
You're paying for speed, basically. You're paying for speed. You know, I started my mastermind, I don't know, 5 years ago. I had 16 people come here to my compound in Sarasota, and there's about $1 billion in assets represented. And I paid for everything. I said, just come, you pay for your travel and your hotel, but I'll provide the food and everything else. And I rented a table, and we had 16 people around this table, and it was freaking incredible because there were people there that had gone through things I hadn't been through. There were people there that thought what I thought was hard was easy. And that's what you want to be. You want to be around people that think what you think is hard is easy. And now that turned into the, largest mastermind, I think, for multifamily on the planet. It's called the Multifamily Boardroom. And there's about 16 billion in assets there now. And, so that's really what you're doing is you're paying for speed. And I've been a member of many masterminds. I'm a member of one now, and for all sorts of different topics, speaking, internet marketing, you name it. And so, no, I love it. I love it. And that's what it is. You're basically, like I said, you're basically paying for speed. I've probably spent, I'm not exaggerating, probably close to $500,000 on my not college education. People think you go to college, and that's what my dad, that's the old paradigm, and people aren't used to the thought leadership paradigm of masterminds and mentorship and coaching and so on and so forth. And a lot of people just don't understand it, but it's incredibly powerful because you're not only are you going to learn what to do, you're going to learn what not to do. Okay. And I've made every freaking mistake you can possibly make, and then some. In fact, I had a student give me a shirt that said #ask me how I know, because I'll be at one of my boot camps and I'm like, don't do that. Ask me how I know. And now we had them printed. We give them away, #ask me how I know. But but that's how you prevent that stuff. And you can do it on your own in, 7 years or so. But if you want to do it in 1 or 2 or 3, then get a mentor for sure. And obviously, I'd love to have you come to one of my boot camps if you're interested in the multifamily space. But I don't care if you learn from me. If you're serious about taking your family's legacy and making things happen, like I said, get up to speed on your vehicle immediately, because opportunity is coming. Everything's going on sale. Even if it's just a mild recession, there's going to be incredible deals because of the bridge debt that was done these last few years and things like that. These guys are already getting in trouble. We were looking at an asset in San Antonio that had bridge debt on it, and the bridge lender had a reserve that they were acquiring from the borrower, and his reserve went from $8,000 a month to $80,000 a month. Yeah, you think that hurts him? Yeah, but we couldn't buy it. But yeah, wow.
Dude,
anyway,
another thing I wanted to bring up regarding that to me is very impactful is the speed, like getting the speed, paying for the speed, right? To know the right way of doing things. And another thing that I love is knowing what is real and what's true for someone else that is different from you. To me, I think like the single family game, I was at the top of the mountain. And then you really were. And I'm like, dude, he's crushing it in multifamily. And I'm like, how? Like, we're worlds apart.
It's interesting. Sorry to interrupt, but what's interesting is I was going to ask you if you were a member of a mastermind, Collective Genius in Tampa. Yep. Were you in that one?
I wasn't now, but I know.
Okay, but that's the biggest wholesalers and flippers on the planet. That's a mastermind I joined just to learn how to do a bigger mastermind. Okay, there's another mastermind example. But anyway, and I knew you at 30 employees in wholesaling, you are absolutely at the top of that freaking game. So and I met a bunch of guys like you doing that at that particular mastermind. Anyway, please continue. I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, but it's interesting. Like if you know more about each of those businesses, like, dude, what we do in revenue in our business does not compare what like you guys are doing in multifamily, right? Like it's just worlds apart. So getting that, not only getting that speed, but also shocking what you think is true and what you believe to be true, and knowing that the ceiling is much higher than what you think it really is. And you get that by being like close proximity to other people, that their ceiling is a lot higher.
Yeah, and you basically blow apart your paradigm, you know, or that box that you have around what you think you can do. And a great example of this would be the fact that you do wholesaling in Florida. It was probably pretty hard for you to get involved in a deal out of state, right? At least it was for me. The control thing was a real problem for me to get past, to invest in other states. And that's an example of it. You know, more zeros. That's an example of it. You know, more zeros on a deal, because you've got this perceived impression of what you're capable of. And it's very often it's subconscious. So that was really good feedback, Satch, because you're really dead on. You've got to, either expand that box or pretend there is no box, and, go listen to Grant Cardone, for example, or something, and 10x it. Yeah, that's really good, brother. So, you are, I know you're in about 150 million as an LP in assets, and 77 million as a co-GP. You've brought money to deals. And by the way, guys, you can't just raise money. And I think you've heard me talk about this on the show before. You've got to be actively, and you can't be a quote unquote money raiser, but you can absolutely have that be the primary thing you do, as long as you're actively involved in the deal. You've got to be doing the due diligence, be there on the site, help with that, or help with asset management on an ongoing basis, be on those weekly asset management calls and so on and so forth. That's a critical piece of this. And you need to be doing that anyway, because you're protecting your investors, right? But it is definitely one of the hats that you can wear in this business, and be very, very successful at it. So let me ask you this, brother. What you have a child now? I think you said you had a baby coming.
No, he's already one.
1 year old. So I was going to ask you what your why is, but I'm guessing that it relates to him, right?
Rod, I've been asked that question before, and I can tell you that yes, that's the why up to a certain level, but beyond that, it's something else, and I cannot tell you what it is. I just have and I know this is crucial. Anybody, whenever you meet, whenever you join a mastermind or a coach, right? They're really try to dig deep into your why, right? And my family is a big why. Having a pretty cool lifestyle is a big why, but I don't think that I need to take it to the utmost level of 10xing for me to achieve that why. I can probably do that with less money, and there is something in, I don't know, maybe that might be a question for my therapist, right? But there is something in me that is always thinking what's next? What's next? How can I push it to the next level? And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know where that stems from, And,
something in your childhood, undoubtedly. And you're just consciously not aware of it yet. And you do enough looking in the mirror. You'll probably figure it out where it came from, or something you saw in your parents or someone else that had a big impact on you. But so you always want to take it to the next level. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I'm always thinking what's next. That wholesale team, we grow that wholesale team. We got where it is, and that's okay. It's now time for me to step out of this and go to the next thing. Right? Yeah. I'm in multifamily now. Have
you had any failures in this journey of yours?
Yeah, well, 100%, dude. Twice I failed at scaling the wholesaling company, and I'd failed to the point that we were already 5-6 people in the company, and it just crumbled down to back to me alone doing everything again.
Wow.
So a lot of lessons learned from that. Hiring the right people is definitely a big one. The team you had mentioned earlier, real estate is a team sport. Business is a team sport. The people on your team are the most important people. At the end of the day, you're trusting them with executing the job the way it's supposed to be done.
Right.
And I was not hiring the people I should be hiring, and I was not putting them in the right position.
Yeah.
And so that cost me a lot.
Yeah, no, that's but I'm going to tell you, all of that experience is just it's priceless as it relates to really any business, because you learn so many things. You learn about negotiation, you learn about influence, you learn about, building a team, like you said, and all those lessons you carry with you, and they help you, on an ongoing basis. And, honestly, it beats the hell out of a college career, for our college experience, frankly, because it's, you learn as you go here, and about business, and about, running a business, and really any apartment complex is a business. I mean, you have a business plan, you've got to execute on that plan. And so, all of that comes into play. So let me ask you this, I have a lot of listeners that are listening that haven't taken action on this yet, that know they want something more for their family, that, they're either in the rat race, or they feel like they're in the rat race. They're comfortable, maybe they're comfortable, but they know they need to do something else. What words of wisdom would you share with an aspiring commercial real estate investor?
I would say take action. I know it sounds simple and maybe a cliche from many people, but if you think, I always, whenever I'm making a decision like that, and I always recommend people to think this way, hopefully it serves you, but think, well, like, what's the worst case scenario, man? What's the worst case scenario? You're just gonna, if you have your job, and obviously I'm not saying like quit your job to go do this, right? You can kind of like simultaneously start working on both until one exceeds the income level than the other. But is there some sacrifices you have to do at first, but that's what it takes to get to the next level, right? You have to give something up to do this, right? If you keep track of, this is something crazy, Rod. If you keep track of how many hours you spend doing things that are like not serving you, you will find so much time to really put your work into like the stuff that you really want. So like what I really want to ask people is like, do you really want it? Because you tell me you want to do X, but also you've told me that for the past week you spent 2 hours watching TV at night. Like,
or check your screen time on social media on your phone. It'll blow your mind. Okay. But let me show you something. This is a paperweight on my desk. I don't know if you can read it or not. It basically says, what would you attempt if you knew you could not fail? Okay. It's one of two paperweights I've got on my desk. And the other one says, never, ever, ever give up. But the point is, when you approach something with that mindset, you're unstoppable, man. And so, that's why I have it on my desk. But, let me ask you this. If you went back and started over, and didn't do the wholesaling, is there anything you would do differently?
I would have gotten a mentor, and I would have gone straight to multifamily. Yeah. Okay. Hands down. Okay. I thought single family home was a requirement to like get to the multifamily game. Now looking back, I know it wasn't. So I would have not spent the first couple of years playing in a smaller.
That's why I asked. That's why I asked the question, brother. I want them to hear it from you, not from me. Go bigger, okay? Go bigger, faster, and I hear it every time from people that like you, or people that huge, that have 7,000-10,000 doors. They always say it. It's always go bigger, faster. Well, listen, my friend, I appreciate you coming on my show. I appreciate you adding value and sharing some wisdom, and it's very much my pleasure to meet you. And I hope we stay in touch, brother. Yeah, me too, Rod. Thank you so much for having me, and I hope I added some value to your listeners. You definitely did, buddy. Thank you so much. Talk soon.
Rod, I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to take their multifamily investing business to the next level. Now, I know you've been hard at work helping our Warrior students do just that using our ACT methodology, which is awareness, close, and transform. Can you explain to the listeners how they can get our help?
You bet. Guys, we've been going nonstop for 3 years, building an amazing community of like-minded people. And our coaching students, which we call our Warriors, have had extraordinary results. They've purchased thousands and thousands of units. And last year, we did over 1,000 units with our students. And we're looking to grow this group and take it to the next level. We're looking for people who want to follow a proven framework that's really step by step, and then leverage our systems and network to raise equity, to find and close deals, and to build partnerships nationwide. Now, our Warrior community is finding success in any market cycle. So if you're interested in finding out more about how you can become more of our our incredible network and take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are coming very soon. Apply to work with us at mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345 and we'll set up a call so you can check us out and we can check you out. That's mentorwithrod.com or text CRUSH to 72345.